Hello, testing, testing. Good morning, everyone. Today is March 31st, 2025. Right now it's almost a few minutes to 1 hour into the market. Today is Monday. Just making sure my today is March 31st. Okay, it looks like my volume is working on the live, so that's good. All right. Let's do a quick market check. Where a week open. I believe it's down. Yeah. So here you can see Nasdaq QQQ is down negative 1.92%. SPY is down 1.06% on S&P, and Dow is down negative 0.4%. So slightly better. Um, and IWM Russell is down negative 1.5%. Down here you see some of the big caps. Apple is the only green one, and Tesla is the one that dropped the most, negative 6%. Netflix also dropping, oh sorry, not Netflix, Nvidia also dropping close to 5%, and the rest are dropping 2 to 3% here. So yeah, we opening the market really weak. Continue basically where we left off on Friday. Um, yeah, I did the weekend videos, and yeah, like the technical, aspect is definitely weakens considerably, and um, yeah, there's really not much to do at this moment, I think, because the market is basically going through a correction, and the tariff news are going to come out this week, right, on Wednesday, April 2nd. So no one knows how deep the tariff will be, and like I think over the weekend, Trump said it probably will apply to all countries, right? So that again widen the whole scope of the tariffs. So and how much and to what degree again? What's being excluded and so forth. No one knows the details right now. So it's definitely how do you say, the uncertainty is there, right? There's no doubt, and investors are just not gonna take risks on right now at this moment. So yeah, so there's no need to jump in right now and take that risk. I mean, some people like to catch the bottom. I never do that personally. I learned enough over time that it doesn't really work. Like sometimes you can catch it for a quick bounce, but you have to understand that those quick bounce can dissipate very quickly, right? So anyhow, let's jump back to the chart here. Let's go to QQQ for a second. Here's the date. So that's the weekly chart. The weekly chart is starting to look real ugly because uh, we're starting to see like lots of things, right? Like look at this 50-day lines coming down really hard. Like it could cross this 200-day anytime this week. Um, so that's one thing. The second thing is, we broke this low, right? We came to a new low today. Like, on Friday we closed at the like it was a big bar. You can see that big bar right there. Let me refresh the screen to show it again. So basically, it got rejected at the 200-day, the black line, and from there it came all the way back down to near the lows. And today we just gapped down and broke it easily, right? It wasn't even like, oh, there's the gonna stop at the line and bounce back. No, no, it just gapped down this morning. So that just tells you the severity of this drawdown right now. It can be deep. Like Again, there's no more support line. Probably the next support line is around here, the previous low, and then this low right here. Those are the two levels, which is very far away from where it is right now. So that's the problem. Uh, let's go to daily for a second. So look at how many days it takes us to get up there. I counted it. It's 9 sessions. Okay. So we have a technical rebound. It got rejected at the 200 day, or near the 21-day moving average, which is the pink line. And then we came down like one, two, three. It took 3 sessions to almost wipe out 9 sessions of gains. So that is very negative, very negative. Um, then today, as you see here, we just gap down and make a new low. Like, of course, it can bounce from here too. That could happen, right? But what's the reason for that though? For it to happen? Like, are the markets more aware of what's going to happen to tariff? I don't think so. Um, you know, and this doesn't even discount possibly bad news from the economic numbers that are coming up. For example, maybe last week we got inflation numbers, and obviously they turned higher, and things got worse after that. Like the market started to sell off on Wednesday after the inflation numbers. Um, and then we have Friday this job number coming out. Like how it's already weakening. So the question is like, how fast is that weakening? So no one really knows. So has the market priced in all this bad news? I highly doubt it. But that doesn't mean the market will go straight down, right? Like right now it is looking like it going straight down, but it's possible we go down even up to Wednesday, and then we're gonna see a bounce there because this is pretty severe. Like whenever you see a really sharp drop, they usually tend to rebound. So this is a pretty steep slope right here. Right now, this slope is even steeper than this one. So, but again, it's just how it is. It's like, but the key here is, like I said, it only took 3 days to wipe out almost 9 days of entire of the gain. So it just tells you the strength is on the selling side. Um, and unless you're really quick with your trade, you're probably gonna get hurt somehow. And if you have no risk protection, that's even worse because stocks are getting pounded right now on the growth stock side. So that's the big problem. Okay, so anyhow, that's just a short brief on the market in general. Um, let's go to 5 minute chart just to show. So this morning, you see, we get like Friday we closed at the lows, right? Although it looks like it appeared to flatten out by the end of the day, you may think, hey, that's not too bad, you can go down, right? But look at today, it gapped down, right? So again, it's hard to tell, right now, especially in the correction. Friday to Monday is where probably the most risks usually happen in the bear market, or in the correction, because yeah, anyhow, because news are coming out, right, especially about tariffs, so that's why market sell for sure. Now, this morning, not only did it gap up, it went down further. Look at this bar right here. First bar, oh no, second bar, sorry. The first bar, first 5 minutes, okay, the market just kind of went down a little bit more. But then the second bar, right away, right? There's not much buying, boom, selling comes in, right? Then you see the third bar again, and not much bounce, right? And then boom, you see the fourth bar sell off again. Okay, finally, we got some bounce here. Five bar, 6 bar, 7 bar, right? And then it bounced for 5 bars, and then it starts to come down slowly. So that's good. We haven't seen that big bar down yet. But so far, it looks okay so far this morning. And who knows, maybe we will see a gradual climb back. but it's still gonna be depending on how much you climb back, maybe halfway. I don't know, but that doesn't mean much, right? Because we're still gonna be down quite a bit. Like instead of 2%, if we're down 1%, we're still down 1%, right? The market doesn't go straight down every day, and those intraday bounce may look like okay, but it's really the you know at the end of the day, what happened? Okay, down 1%. Let's say it bounced back 1%. Well, that doesn't tell you much because it's still down, right? And then the next day it might repeat the same thing and go down and then come back up halfway. It's still a down day. So you know when we talk about intraday bounce or reversal, what we want to see is like actually turn positive. So like from a negative to a positive number. That's when it becomes more maybe a better signal that something has changed. But you go from -2 to -1, that doesn't help much. But if you go from -2 to +1, that's a 3% swing. That's a huge for an index. So anyhow, so yeah, obviously we make a new low. So the attempt rally um have failed, right? So this is the first attempt rally that has failed because they make a new low today. So yeah, so we'll have to start counting again. Right now, let's say it's starting to bounce back. The question is, how much is it gonna bounce back? Well, if it bounce back above the gap from the last close on Friday, and it turn green, that will be very powerful because that's a complete reversal, right? Not only it came back that 2% it lost, from the gap down. So it did two things, right? It closed green and it filled up the gap. That's very powerful. Um, so I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but if that happens, I'll probably get back in because that just gives me a sign that something has changed again. Again, this is a really short-term momentum, but it's enough of a momentum for me to get back into trade. So anyhow, right now, like I say, minus 0.1.6 is holding up. So we'll see. So just coming back to the lows won't do it for me. It has to come back above that, fill up all the gap and close green, which is possible, right? 2%, let's say 2.5%. That will bring it to green, and that will bring it to close above Friday, and that will be a complete what? When you talk about the swing, you're going from -2 to 2.5. Sorry, 2.5. That's a 4.5% swing on today alone. So, all right. So that's that. Stocks on the move. There's really not much going on. I really co-op got bought out by Rocket. So um, let me go to my growth stock list for a second. Let's go to co-op. This was ranked 79. So co-op got bought out or acquired. So this was kind of pulling back as well on Friday. So yeah, even if I was in it, I would have been tripped on the stop here, right? I would have a stop right around there. So I wouldn't be able to capitalize on this acquisition, right? If we go to Rocket, both um, this is my trend line, and you see the 10-day moving average. So today it dropped. Obviously, the market doesn't like that it's quiet, I guess, in this case. So it dropped, right? Rocket. So this one has been sliding for a while now. So the last time I was shook out was right here. So I took a try right here when it broke above 200 day, but then it fell below 10-day right here. So that's what happened. Um, but yeah, the chart doesn't look good right now. You can see it's on a pretty steep downtrend. So that's that. So go up. We'll just put cash offer here or something like that, or acquisition. I don't know what the deal is actually. Okay. Again, it's not probably not the best time to buy stocks that are moving right now because they could reverse by the end of the day as well. So even if it worked this morning, of course you can argue it can go the other way, it can go up even more. But yeah, but that's up to based on the market sentiment. I just index it. I just don't feel like trading any stocks right now. But I still like to see what's moving, and that's the whole part of the game that I do every day is monitor the stocks that are moving and see how they trade throughout the day, every day, because that's how you gauge, whether the stock growth stocks momentum are there or not. Um, so so even if I'm not going to trade this stock today or any stock today, I just like to see what's happening with this stock. So we saw sizzle. Let me jump to sizzle. So some of this have dropped quite a bit. Well, this one is bouncing after hitting a new low. That's interesting. I'm just gonna put a alert here. So yeah, the fact that this is I don't know. Oh, maybe it's related to the rocket deal. I don't know. Um, yeah, it could be related. I'm not sure. Yeah, but it bounced pretty good this morning after hitting a new low. So yeah, that's one to watch for sure. Sizzle, but it's still under like normal trend right now. So let me just put this in because it's still under the downtrend line. So that's the problem here. Okay, next one we have MLGO. The MLGO here. I mean this is a very I'm gonna go to weekly chart. 2.20. 220. Yeah, it's a micro cap stock. Um, it's very speculative stock. Um, I don't know if I have the earnings. It doesn't show up here, so. But anyhow, it's been moving pretty crazy from like $2 recently to 20 now. This is in computer text service, so I don't know what's the speculation, but you can see the chart is like it was really high, came down. I mean, it was I don't know if this is correct. I never know the stock though. I don't know. It went up 300, went up 500. This is like a GameStop kind of deal. But yeah, anyhow, it's not my thing. Uh, speculative. I'm just gonna put that. I don't know much about it, and I don't usually trade speculative stuff. Okay, so that's that. Let's keep going here. Okay, we have gold. That's the only gold stock today on the list. Let's just look at gold price first. So it continue to make new high. So I would assume most gold stocks are up today. So this one is at the highs right now. It hasn't made a new high intraday, but pretty close to it. So that's rank gold, looking pretty good. Um, well, earnings coming down in fourth quarter. That's probably why it's kind of probably not going to be on my list anymore. So I'm not sure if I remove this yet, but I'll just put that for now. But it is lower fourth quarter earnings. We can look at the one that I still have is WPM. So this one also has a make new high, which is kind of interesting. Like both stocks did make new high intraday, even though the gold price did. AU, okay, same thing. I guess maybe Friday it gaps up a lot, right? Because see the gap up here. And then it just sold off after that, which may be not a good thing. AGI is even worse. It reversed close red on Friday. Today, very similar action here. Yeah, so it looks like in the morning, all these gold stocks sold off despite the gold price hitting new high. But they are bouncing back. So I don't know what's the deal with that. It's kind of weird to me. When gold price hitting new high, but they open lower. Here's another, see all this. Anyhow, so yeah, to me, relative strength wise, it's kind of weird compared to gold price. So I don't know. Now, of course, the market's selling off, so um, it could be just like following that trend rather than the gold price itself. But still, that's kind of weird to me. It tells me that there's not enough buyers right now to hold the price, right? So I don't know. That's just my take on it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I still coming back to WPM. I'm still riding this 10-day line right here. So until it breaks that, I'm not gonna let it go yet, right? So we'll see how that goes. So that's that one. Rango. Okay. Next one, AIG. That's insurance group. So insurance is probably the defensive area. So this one has negative quarter, but then the rest is pretty good. So we'll see. But it's making new high right now. Uh, Next we have Fox. I'm not sure if there's any news on Fox, but really low earnings. So I would pass on this. But yeah, it's the, yeah, I don't know. I don't usually see Fox on here. Um, Let me see what's next here. There's not many stocks. Yeah, we'll look at some tech stuff out there. The that's oh yeah, that's utility. And so some of this defensive area. I think utilities went up a lot last week. Yeah, you can see the bar here. This is just for Dominion. Well, this one has good earnings. So many utilities I look at, they don't have good earnings. This one does, but even then, I didn't trade because it's just so choppy. I just couldn't deal with that choppiness. It's just too much choppy. Right now it's working, but I mean, it's just the way it's been trading is so choppy. So today you can see now it broke out of this 200 daily at $55. Now it's 56. So so obviously defensive area is gonna go up as the market gets sold off. So that's the reason why this one's probably going up nicely right now. Um, yeah, let's keep going. EH, this one also aerospace defense. Yeah, it doesn't have good earnings coming down. Um, So I will pass on that. TSN is a food processor. Tyson Food. And so again, this is probably another defensive area. Moving up nicely. Doesn't have strong earnings though. And we have MCK. So this is been going up for many weeks slowly, 5 6 weeks there. So this one looks okay. I mean, most of the quarters have double-digit earnings, except for one, right? So that's the only reason why it's not on my list. But look at the relative strength; it just continued to climb. Oh, this is a nice stock so far. Yeah, just continue to ride the 10-day. Um, we have TW. This one have good earnings and sales. It's making new high. Look really good. So this is also similar to uh what was the other stock here? I forgot now. Like in the similar area, like Sizzle, Co-op, Rocket. Um, Look at this relative strength. Except for a little blip here. I was trying to trade it here, but it got too volatile. It shook me out, and then it did bounce though after that. So now it's riding the 10-day. Looks really good. Pretty tight trading as well. And on a day like today, it was able to. Again, I think this all these few talks might have to might be doing well because of that news as well of the acquisition of co-op. So yeah, so TW looks good. Let me jump back to my stock in the move here. Yeah, so I don't think there's any new stocks here. So we'll finish off the stream. It's a very short stream today because there's really not much to talk about. We can do a market check right now. Okay, it looks like Dow is trying to turn green right now. That's good. Right. Nasdaq QQQ is still net down nearly 1%. So let's take a look at DIA for a second. So before I forget, there won't be a live stream tomorrow just because I have to wake up early to go to a theme park here in California for the day. So I'll probably be back on Wednesday morning. Um, but yeah, Tuesday, uh, April 1st, there will be no live stream. So anyhow, so here's Dow. So Dow hasn't broken to new lows. So that's interesting. And today is the strongest one to reverse. So that's also interesting. So compare that to SPY on S&P. We broke to new low. The other thing it didn't do is it didn't gap down. I don't know, maybe it did. Let me see. Let me go to intraday chart. Okay, it did gap down, but it recovered the gap down. So it filled up the gap now. So so this one is interesting. I don't know why Dow would be trading better, especially with all this tariff news, which is kind of odd actually, because Dow stocks are generally global, and that would impact them more if they're trading a lot in terms of goods and stuff within countries, between U.S. and other countries. So I don't know. I don't know why this one's doing better. It's kind of weird, but it is though. So again, you follow the trend. So Dow, that's Dow. Coming back to the index again. So it's still hovering near the lows, right? Don't think there's much like in terms of QQQ, right? That's the one that most people trade on. So yeah, we're very far from the gap. We're not filling this gap for sure. I don't think. Like it'll be good if it can, but I don't think it will. I don't know why this chart is showing this huge gap. Okay, now it works. Okay, so at least it's making higher lows. So that's a good news right there, higher lows. But this is the resistance right here, where it opened. Seems to be a resistance. If it does break through this, then maybe it could go back up. But so far it hasn't. So that's a problem, okay? If it takes that many bars and it couldn't break above this, but it could. I don't know. It's still early in the day. It could. We're only 1.5 hours into the market, so it's still early. Anyhow, so that's that. So let's just look at some stocks here recently. That's high beta stuff. Uh, so this one has a make new low. Interesting, but um yeah. So we have this relative strength here from this recent move here, right? So relative strength is now coming down because it's correcting also really fast because of that one day 20% drop. Um, but it hasn't made new low, so that's interesting. Not saying it won't, it hasn't come down fast enough. So Palantir, very similar chart, hasn't made new low. Um, again, we still have a gap to fill here on today because it gapped down lower this morning. Same thing with app here. So that's not a good sign because if they don't fill that gap, I'm not saying they couldn't fill it tomorrow or the next day, but people will lose confidence. The people who buy today, they will lose confidence. They're like, oh, they're buying on the board again. They're catching the knife. They're trying to say, hey, let's hope this is the bottom, and they come in for a quick trade, and then they realize by the end of the day it doesn't fill the gap. Then they're gonna start to sell again. So that's usually what happens. So that's App and Palantir, Nvidia. I believe Nvidia make a new low, 104.77, 104.60 right now. So that's not good because this is probably the number one institution growth stock right now, right? Then we also have Tesla. So Tesla, everyone was like, oh, it's holding up so well, it's holding up so well, and then boom, today, 6% down, broke all the moving averages here, right? So mine got tripped on Friday, so lucky for me, I didn't have to incur the 6% loss today on the gap down. Um, yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the stronger looking chart right now until today. But even after today's damage, it's still like not too far down, right? You see the lows right here. It's still pretty far away. That's kind of interesting that Tesla is doing relatively like better in terms of where it is compared to the lows. So that's very interesting to know. Um, there's probably many other growth stuff that we can cover. Okay, so the couple I really like is recently Spotify. So even this one is starting to fall. So it went up, really nicely here. It's one of the probably best chart I like in terms of coming back on the right side of the base. But look at this right now. It's coming down so fast. Again, the market go through correction. Not many stocks will survive. Not many growth stocks will survive because you know, it's a risk-off environment, and investors will sell anything when things like that, when things like right now happen. So that's Spotify. The other one I really like is Netflix. So again, very strong chart. It's probably one of the charts that came back up quite a bit, and but but again, it's falling very fast. So that's not a good sign. But it's still pretty. pretty far away from the low. Um, I'll look at Apple just because it's the only green mega cap today. So this one is trying to hold on to the 10-day. So that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I won't be here to do a live stream tomorrow, so I don't know. Yeah. So the ADP report, unemployment report out Wednesday. And obviously, probably that's not even going to be the most important, but the big one is going to be the tariff news, right? So, so personally, I do think reciprocal tariff is a huge thing. Like, please comment if you like about what you think of reciprocal tariff. I really want to know. Um, as far as I know, my understanding is that they will impose whatever existing tariff today on. So let's say if if Canada has whatever, I don't know all the tariffs, but if Canada has some tariff tax on um yeah on the exports right now, like and sorry, on the opposite, right? So if Canada, impose tax on U.S. goods, that would be, let's say, I don't know, 25%. Then let's say that's already existing. Then on that April 2nd, U.S. going to impose the same thing, 25%, probably on the same category. It might not be exactly the same, just the specific product, but might be category based. I don't know what the details look like, but but that but yeah, so that's what's going to happen. And so from that perspective, it's going to hurt many sectors. Um, you know, everything from beer, wine to dairy products, all kinds of stuff. And obviously, the one that was announced last week on Wednesday was the auto parts, right? Auto related stuff, and which is huge for Canada because a lot of cars made in Canada but sold in US. Um, anyhow, yeah, that's my take on it. Is that it is going to be a huge impact. Um, and I think this morning there was a economy survey came out on CNBC that shows that the what they think is that it's gonna hurt the economy. Um, again, I don't know how good that survey is, but that's a big problem, right? If again, I don't know if those economists are accurate or not, or how they come up with their model, but just knowing that it's possibility that it could bring the economy down. I think to 0.3% is not the forecast look like. Um, yeah. Anyhow, I'm not the expert on this stuff, so I'm just following what the market is doing, and the market is not liking what's happening right now because of all this uncertainty. Once the uncertainty goes away, and who knows how long this will be, like this terror stuff has been going on since what? Basically, since Trump took office, right? So that's over 2 months now, and it's been going on, and it's, there's no clear direction still, right? This April 2nd is probably gonna, if again, if it's finalized, everything's finalized, the market can move on, the economy can move on, and say, okay, this is what the prices are, this is all the taxes and all that. Then they can try to, okay, figure out what their new business model is and so forth. But when they don't know that, when there's all this uncertainty, all this business is not going to spend money on anything. They're going to be like, cutting expenses and to deal with this terror stuff in case it's actually going to happen. So there's no expansion happening. So the economy is going to contract right now because of that, because of those uncertainty. Now, once the actual numbers come in, then like I said, they're going to figure out, okay, can they still make money on certain things or not? And if not, then they're going to cut those business. So again, that will also still have an impact, right? Probably a big impact too, um, on the economy. So looks like there's going to be two stages. The first stage right now is just too much uncertainty. And then when the actual tariffs is in place and all the numbers are finalized, all the tariffs are finalized, And then there's another stage to go through where business have to deal with the actual operations, how to deal with it. So this downturn, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be a bear, but this downturn could last another few more months, right? At least. So so thank you for watching the stream. Have a very good day and uh, safe trading out.